performing in San Francisco. Just kidding, I don't know. I'm going to show you how to do that core movement. I think I called it like the low bolt pulse or something like that. It doesn't really have a name. I learned it from someone somewhere at some point, and that's just what I'm calling it. So to set up, you're going to want to be able to find something that you can put your feet under to kind of anchor them down. And ideally, if I were at the gym, I'd like get some heavy dumbbells and stick my feet under the handles or like a bench or something. I'm doing this at home, so I'm going to use this glass table that hopefully will hold. This looks like it's angled weird. I don't know. Hopefully you can see me. So think of it kind of like a mini sit-up. So like a boat pose we have here, right? But what I want you to do is use something to anchor your feet down so you don't have to worry about your lower body. You can just focus on how your hips are tilting. You can focus on the connection to your deep inner core and pelvic floor. We're going to be talking pelvic floor here. So kind of position yourself comfortably. Feet are tucked under whatever you have, anchoring them down. This table is not perfect, but it'll work. And before we get started, I want you to start sitting up nice and tall. So in this position, sitting up tall, the way my body naturally kind of goes, I kind of tilt my hips back a little bit underneath me, as if I'm like sticking out my butt. So before I start, I want to kind of pull my hips underneath me by like tucking them forward, kind of rounding, not rounding, but imagine like you're pushing your pubic bone forward, as weird as that sounds. So I kind of support myself, tuck my hips under so that I'm sitting kind of more on the top of my tailbone. It'll make sense once you do it. And sitting up nice and tall here. So in this position, I can already feel how I really have to lift through my core, lift through the pelvic floor to maintain this position, as opposed to just being here, where my hips have now rotated, fallen out from underneath me. And you probably can't see it, but you can feel it. So tuck the hips, sitting up nice and tall, and the movement basically is this. Just lowering down and coming right back up without losing that hip positioning. You're gonna feel it in the deep inner core. You're gonna feel it along the quads as you're anchoring yourself down. But basically, it doesn't matter how far you go down. What matters is keeping that positioning and keeping your breathing going as you're doing it. So again, I'm gonna tuck my hips underneath me. I have a little bit of space between my knees. You know, my legs are neutral, about hip distance apart. I'm gonna sit up nice and tall. I'm gonna breathe in. As I go down, kind of bracing, and then breathing out. And as I come up, I'm not rounding forward, I'm not arching, I'm coming back up to a nice tall position. Spine is neutral, my neck is neutral. And yeah, kind of thinking about lifting through the core as you come up. So again, deep breath in. And it's almost like you want to think about pushing your chest up and forward, not like a normal sit-up where you would like round forward, because then we lose that hip connection. If you are struggling to understand what it feels like to kind of have that lifting sensation, I will say something that is similar is in yoga. When you're in a downward dog position, you're kind of lifting through the core as well. So just for example, it's kind of an awkward setup, but whatever. If I'm in a downward dog here, you can kind of see, I'm stiff, but you can kind of see how my stomach lifts into my hips so I can push my hips up towards the wall, as opposed to something like this where I'm bracing my core, but I'm pushing out instead of lifting in. And I'm not sucking in my stomach. That's a big difference. I'm not sucking in my stomach, but rather lifting up. Almost imagine as if someone in your downward dog position put their hands in your hip crease and is like, boop, lifting you up towards the ceiling. And in a downward dog where you're here doing that, if you think about it, that core position, you're in the same position, just reverse, upside down, I guess. So yeah, let me know how that works for you.